You have been lied to, not by evil people, not by people who wanted to hurt you, by frightened people. And because their fear sounded like science, you believed them. You believed them so deeply that you turned your own body into a project, into a problem to be solved, into something that needed to be watched every single hour of every single day, because if you looked away, even for a moment, something terrible might happen. And now, here you are. It is late, you are tired, but you cannot sleep, not because your body has forgotten how, but because your mind will not stop. You are lying there, and your chest is tight, and you are watching this instead of resting, and there is a part of you that feels guilty even about that. Because somewhere along the way, you learned that everything you do to your body either saves you or destroys you, and there is no middle ground, and there is no rest from the calculations. I know about the grocery store. I know you stand there turning packages over, reading labels, not because you enjoy it, but because you are afraid of what happens if you stop. I know about the gym sessions that stopped being joyful a long time ago and became something closer to penance. Something you do not because your body is asking for it, but because the thought of skipping a day fills you with a dread you cannot explain to anyone. I know about the articles you have read at midnight, the ones that contradict each other, the ones that made you feel better for 15 minutes before the next one took it away. And I know about the word you carry quietly, the one you do not say out loud, the one your eyes find in every headline, the word that tightened your chest when you read the title of this video. I see you, and I am not here to give you another set of rules. The world has given you enough rules. I am not a doctor. I am not going to tell you what to eat, or how to sleep, or how many minutes to spend on a treadmill. I am going to do something far more dangerous and far more necessary. I am going to walk you through 7 lies that have been building a prison around your peace, 1 bar at a time, for years. And then I am going to ask you to do the one thing no headline has ever asked you to do. Trust yourself. But before I name these lies, I want to tell you a story about a young monk who, like you, went searching for answers and found only noise. There was a young monk in a monastery, high in the mountains. He was not remarkable. He was not the wisest in the monastery, not the most disciplined. He was simply earnest. He wanted, very badly, to do things right. His teacher loved this about him, but also worried about it, the way you might worry about a candle that burns a little too hot. Earnestness without rest becomes its own kind of fire. One autumn, the monk fell ill. Nothing dramatic, a persistent fever, an ache that settled deep in his bones and would not leave, a tiredness that sleep did not seem to fix. He went to his teacher and said, "I have tried resting. I have tried the remedies. I know nothing is working. What should I do?" His teacher looked at him for a long time and said, "Go to the great market in the valley. Walk among the healers there. Find what heals you." So the monk set out the next morning, and when he arrived at the market, the noise hit him before he even passed through the gates. I want you to picture this market, because I think you have been there. Hundreds of stalls stretched in every direction, and every stall was occupied by a merchant who sold remedies, and every merchant was shouting. The first one grabbed the monk by the sleeve and said, "You look terrible. You need this herb. This is the only herb that works. Every other herb in this market is poison, but this one will save your life." The monk reached for it, but before he could take it, the merchant across the way was already shouting, "That herb will kill you faster than your fever. What you need is this root, only this root. I have scrolls of evidence. I have testimonies. Everyone who ignores this root suffers." The monk turned toward the second merchant, but a third was already calling from behind him. "Roots and herbs are both lies. You must fast. Eat nothing for 7 days. Drink only boiled water. Your body is full of poison, and the only cure is to empty it completely. A fourth merchant, a fifth, a sixth. Eat only raw fruit. No. Eat only cooked grain. No. Eat nothing that grows in soil. Avoid the sun. No, you need more sun. Sleep on your left side. Never sleep on your left side. Every merchant was passionate. Every merchant was certain. And every merchant had scrolls, evidence, testimonies from the cured. And every single one called the others dangerous frauds. Think about what this does to a person. You know what it does, don't you? You have felt it. The monk went from stall to stall, and at first he was careful, taking notes, comparing claims. But the claims contradicted each other so completely that within an hour his notes were useless. So he started buying. A little of this herb, a vial of that tincture, a pouch of this powder. He mixed remedies that were never meant to be mixed. He fasted for half a day, then broke the fast with raw fruit, because a merchant told him fasting was dangerous. He could not keep track of what he had taken. He could not remember which merchant to believe. And here is the part I need you to hear carefully. His fever did not kill him. The market did not poison him. What happened was quieter and worse. He stopped eating because every food had been called dangerous by someone. He stopped sleeping because he lay awake running the contradictions through his mind, trying to calculate the right answer, certain that if he could just find the correct combination, everything would be fine. His hands began to shake, not from the illness, from the panic. He was sicker after 3 days in the market than he had been when he arrived, not because of his original fever, because of the fear. The fear was the illness now. On the 4th day, the monk was sitting on the ground at the edge of the market, exhausted, unable to stand, surrounded by half-empty pouches and remedies he no longer believed in, when he noticed something he had not seen before. An old woman, she was sitting on the bare ground, a few meters from the last stall, in a patch of quiet the merchants had not bothered to fill. She had no stall, no sign, no scrolls, no remedies laid out on a cloth. She was just sitting. And she was looking at him with the kind of patience that made him feel, for the first time in days, that he was not a problem to be solved. He crawled to her. He did not feel ashamed about the crawling. He was past that. He said, "Please, I have tried everything in this market. I have listened to everyone. I am sicker than when I came. Please just tell me what to take." She said nothing for a long time. Then she said, "Close your eyes." He closed them. She said, "Put your hand on your chest." He placed his hand over his heart. He could feel it beating, fast, frightened, but beating, steady beneath the fear, the way a river is steady beneath choppy water. She said, "You came to this market because you forgot something. You forgot that your body has been speaking to you since before you could walk. It knew what it needed before you entered these gates. It has been whispering the whole time. But the merchants were so loud and you were so frightened that you stopped listening. You did not lose the answer. You drowned it out. Listen now." The monk sat there, in the dirt, hand on his chest, eyes closed, merchants still screaming in the distance, and in the silence he had made inside himself, he heard it. Not words, not a prescription, something older than language. His body wanted warmth. His body wanted simple food, not exotic remedies. His body wanted rest, real rest, not the anxious performance of lying still while his mind raced. His body wanted him to stop being afraid of it. He opened his eyes. The old woman was already looking somewhere else, as though what had just happened was the most ordinary thing in the world. And maybe it was. He returned to the monastery. He ate simple meals. He rested without counting the hours. He let the fever do what fevers do, which is rise and fall and eventually leave, the way storms leave, not because we control them, but because that is the nature of storms. Within a week he was well. Not because he found the perfect remedy, because he stopped searching for one. His teacher asked him, "What did you learn at the market?" The monk said, "I learned that I was never as sick as the market made me." His teacher smiled and said nothing, because nothing else needed to be said. Now, this story is not about a monk in a monastery in the mountains. You know that. This story is about you. You have been in that market, perhaps for months, perhaps for years. Every article is a merchant. Every podcast, every documentary, every influencer with a new protocol and a confident voice and a scroll of evidence. They are all shouting. And you have been going from stall to stall, buying a little of everything, trying to calculate the perfect answer, growing more exhausted and more afraid with every contradiction. And your body the whole time has been whispering, you just could not hear it over the noise. The 7 lies I am about to name for you are the 7 loudest merchants in that market. I am not going to replace them with 7 new merchants. I am going to walk you past them. And on the other side, in the quiet, your body is waiting. It has been waiting for you this whole time. Let us begin. The first 2 merchants stand at the entrance of the market. They are the ones who shout about your body and how you must move it. Lie number 1. More exercise is always better. You have heard this your whole life. If some is good, more must be better. If you ran 3 times this week, you should have run 4. If you lifted for 40 minutes, you should have lifted for 60. Rest is laziness. A skip day is a step backward. And so you push. You push past the ache in your shoulder. You push past the tiredness that sits behind your eyes. You push because stopping feels like the beginning of a collapse you cannot afford. You have felt this, haven't you? The guilt of a rest day. Not the rest itself, which your body was probably begging for, but the guilt that follows it like a shadow. The sense that you are falling behind. Behind what exactly? You do not know. But behind, there is an old image I want to offer you. A woodcutter spends all day chopping. He never stops, he never pauses. By evening his arms are shaking, and his pile of wood is smaller than the man next to him who stopped every hour to sharpen his blade. A traveler passes and says, "Your problem is not that you are lazy. Your problem is that you believe stopping is the same as quitting. Rest is not the opposite of progress. Rest is what makes progress possible." Does this make sense? Your body knows this. Every athlete who has ever overtrained knows this. Every muscle that has ever been torn from overuse knows this. More is not always better. More without rest is just a slower way of breaking down. You are allowed to rest, not as a reward for suffering enough, not as something you earn by first destroying yourself. Rest is not a treat. It is a biological necessity, and your body has been asking for it, and you have been calling that asking weakness. It is not weakness, it was wisdom. It was always wisdom. Lie number 2. Exercise should feel like suffering. No pain, no gain. You know this phrase. You have lived inside it, haven't you? It has been repeated so many times that it has become invisible, like wallpaper. You no longer question it. You just inhabit it. And so the gym becomes a place of penance. You do not move your body because it feels good. You move it because you are afraid of what happens if you stop. Exercise becomes punishment for the body you have, payment toward the body you want. But here is something I want you to consider. In the oldest traditions, movement was never punishment. Walking meditation, tai chi, archery practiced as prayer. The body moving not to be destroyed, but to be inhabited. The question was never, did you suffer enough today? The question was, were you present in your body today? Did you feel your feet on the ground? Did you notice your breath? Did you move with your body or against it? What if you replaced the word workout with the word practice? What if movement was not something you survived, but something you listened to? What if the best exercise for you tonight is a slow walk around the block, where you feel the air on your skin and hear the sounds of the world, and remember that you have a body, not as a project, but as a home? You do not have to earn the right to exist in your body by punishing it first. That is the second lie, and you can set it down. Now, the merchants of the body were loud, but they are nothing compared to the merchants of the night. Let us walk deeper into the market. Lie number 3. You must get exactly 8 hours of sleep or you are damaging yourself. I want to speak carefully here, because I know this one lives in you, not as an idea, as a nightly experience. You know this ritual. You have done the math in the dark, yes? You lie in bed. You look at the clock. You calculate. If I fall asleep right now, I will get 7 hours. If I fall asleep in 30 minutes, I will get 6.5. And each calculation makes sleep less likely, and each minute that passes adds another stone to the wall of worry, and soon you are not trying to sleep at all. You are trying to defeat the clock, and the clock always wins. The number 8 has become a kind of god, hasn't it? A god you worship with anxiety. And the cruelest part, the part that no one seems to mention, is this. The anxiety about not sleeping 8 hours is more damaging to you than 6 hours of sleep ever could be. Let me say that again, because I need it to reach you. You are not being destroyed by 6 hours of sleep. You are being destroyed by the 2 hours of panic about it. Sleep varies. It varies by person, by season, by age, by life phase. There is no single number that applies to every human body on earth. The idea that there could be, that 8 is a universal law and anything less is failure, that is not science. That is fear wearing a lab coat, and you have been bowing to it every night. Lie number 4. If you cannot sleep, something is broken inside you. This is the lie that turns a bad night into a diagnosis. You cannot sleep, so you must be broken, and the belief that you are broken creates anxiety, and the anxiety makes sleep even more impossible, and the impossibility becomes evidence that yes, you were right, something is wrong with you. Do you see the circle? Isn't it cruel? You are trapped not by insomnia, but by the story you are telling yourself about insomnia. Your body knows how to sleep. It has been sleeping since before you were born. The problem is not that your body has forgotten how. The problem is that your mind has forgotten how to let it. There is a difference between those two things, and the difference is everything. In the ancient traditions there is a concept of conscious rest, a state between waking and sleeping where the body restores itself not through unconsciousness, but through deep, deliberate stillness. The masters called it Yoga Nidra. They said 20 minutes of it could restore what hours of anxious, fragmented sleep could not. I am not saying, do not sleep. I am saying that rest is broader and more generous than you have been told. Your body is resting even when your mind says it is not. So tonight, if sleep does not come, try this. Do not fight it. Place your hand on your chest, the way the old healer told the monk, and say to yourself, I am resting. Even now, I am resting, because you are. The river of rest has not stopped flowing. You have just been building dams of worry across it. Stop building. Let it flow. If you are lying awake tonight, you are not broken. You are a human being living in a world that was not designed for peace. And the fact that your nervous system is overstimulated is not your failure. It is the natural result of an unnatural world. You have permission to stop punishing yourself for struggling to sleep in a world that never stops screaming. Now, what I must speak about next, I approach with great care, because this is where the merchants do not just confuse. This is where they wound. Lie number 5. If you do everything right, you will not get sick. And if you get sick, you did something wrong. This is the cruelest lie in the market. Not because it is the most common, but because of what it does to people who are already suffering. It sits beside hospital beds and whispers to the sick, "This is your fault. You should have eaten differently. You should have exercised more. You should have managed your stress. You should have caught it earlier. You brought this on yourself, and I will not let this lie stand. Not here. Not tonight." This lie operates through an unspoken contract. The wellness industry, the health influencers, the protocol merchants, they create an implicit promise. If you eat perfectly, sleep perfectly, exercise perfectly, supplement perfectly, then you are safe, you are protected, you will not get sick. And the unspoken other half of that contract is this: if you do get sick, you broke the deal, you failed, it is on you. Do you understand how violent that is? Do you understand what that does to a person sitting in a doctor's office hearing news they never expected? They are already afraid. They are already shaken. And now, on top of the diagnosis, they carry guilt. They replay every meal. They question every missed workout. They wonder, was it the sugar? Was it the stress? Was it me? Was I the reason? No. Listen to me. No. The body is not a contract. It is a river. It flows, it changes, it carries things we did not put there and releases things we tried to hold. Illness is not punishment. It is not a report card. It is not evidence of failure. It is part of the river. The ancient teachers understood this. They taught that impermanence is not a flaw in the design of life. Impermanence is the design. The body changes. The body ages. The body sometimes gets sick. And none of it, means you did something wrong. There are people with perfect blood work who live in constant terror. And there are people facing serious illness who carry a peace that fills every room they enter. Which one is truly well? Isn't it so? Health is not the absence of disease. Health is the presence of awareness, the presence of trust, the presence of a relationship with your body that is not built on fear. If you are sick right now, if you are fighting something, if you are in the middle of a chapter you did not choose, hear me. You did not fail. Your body did not betray you. You are not being punished. How you meet this chapter is the only thing that is truly in your hands, and you are meeting it. You are here. You are still here. That is not failure. That is the deepest kind of courage. And if you are healthy but terrified of becoming sick, if you carry the word like a stone in your chest, if every strange sensation sends you spiraling, then I want you to hear this too. The fear of illness is not preventing illness. It is preventing life. Every moment spent dreading what might happen to your body is a moment stolen from actually living in it. You are so busy guarding the house that you have forgotten to live in it. You can release that guard, not recklessly, not by pretending you are invincible, but by understanding deeply that control is an illusion and the things you cannot control are not made safer by your fear of them. You can be attentive to your body without being at war with it. There is a vast, beautiful space between carelessness and terror, and that space has a name. It is called trust. Let us breathe for a moment. The heaviest merchant is behind us now, but there are two more, and though they are lighter, they have stolen more joy from your daily life than you may realize. Lie number 6. Sugar is poison. They speak of sugar the way medieval monks spoke of demons, as though it lurks in every corner, waiting to destroy you. One spoonful and the damage is done. One dessert and you have failed. One moment of sweetness and the body begins to crumble. You know what this has done to you. It has taken one of the simplest pleasures in human life and wrapped it in barbed wire. A piece of fruit becomes a math problem. A birthday cake becomes a moral test. A cup of tea with honey becomes a negotiation between desire and discipline. You have sat at that table, haven't you? The table where everyone is eating and laughing, and you are performing arithmetic in your head, calculating grams, measuring guilt before the fork even reaches your mouth. And the strangest part is that you call this health. You call the inability to enjoy a meal without calculating its damage, you call that wellness. The Buddha nearly killed himself through deprivation. Before he became the Buddha, before enlightenment, he was an ascetic who starved himself almost to death, convinced that denying the body was the path to freedom. He sat under a tree with his ribs showing and his mind growing dimmer, and he realized something radical. Deprivation is not discipline. Deprivation is just suffering with a spiritual label. He ate. He ate a simple meal of rice and milk offered by a village girl, and it was this act, this returning to the middle, that gave him the strength to sit beneath the Bodhi tree and wake up. The middle path, not indulgence, not deprivation, presence, listening, trusting that your body can handle a piece of cake without collapsing, because it can. It has been handling far more complex chemistry than a slice of birthday cake for your entire life without your help. Lie number 7. Discipline means deprivation. Somewhere along the way, self-discipline became self-punishment. Restriction became virtue. Hunger became proof of willpower. The ability to say no to everything became the highest measure of a person. And the cruelest trick of this lie is what it does to you. After you break, you eat the thing you were not supposed to eat, and then the guilt arrives, not small guilt, the kind that floods your whole chest. And the guilt tells you that you are weak, that you have no discipline, that you need to be stricter tomorrow to make up for today, and so the cycle tightens. Restrict, break, guilt, restrict harder. Each loop a little more exhausting. Each loop stealing a little more of your joy around food. You know this cycle. Hello? You have lived inside it. But I want to ask you something. If you are sitting at a table with people you love, and there is food made with care, and your body is hungry, and your heart is happy, and you cannot enjoy any of it because the voice in your head is calculating damage, who exactly has been disciplined here, and who has been imprisoned. Real discipline is not the ability to say no to everything. Real discipline is the ability to say yes without fear. To eat a piece of cake at your child's birthday without the voice in your head performing a cost-benefit analysis. To pour honey into your tea and feel nothing but warmth. That is freedom. That is the discipline that actually matters. You are allowed to enjoy food. You are allowed to eat without performing calculations in your mind. You are allowed to nourish your body and your joy at the same time. They were never supposed to be at war. A meal shared with people you love feeds something no supplement can reach. You know this. You have always known this. You have just been too afraid to believe it. 7 merchants, 7 lies. You have walked past all of them now, but I have not yet told you the most important thing. The lie beneath all 7. Every lie I have named tonight grows from one root, one belief so deep you may not even recognize it as a belief. It is this: my body is my enemy. It is fragile. It is waiting to betray me. And I must control it perfectly, or it will destroy me. You have believed this, maybe not in words, but in your bones, isn't it so? This is the master lie. This is the merchant behind all the other merchants. And every fear you carry, the fear that exercise is not enough, the fear that sleep is not right, the fear that food is dangerous, the fear that illness is lurking, all of it, grows from this single root. Can you feel it? The root beneath the roots? The belief that you and your body are at war. But you are not at war. You never were. The war was handed to you. by a culture that profits from your fear, by industries that need you anxious to sell you solutions, by algorithms that learned, very early, that a frightened person clicks more than a peaceful one. The war was never yours. It was placed on your shoulders before you were old enough to question it, and you have been carrying it so long that you forgot it was not yours to carry. Remember the old healer at the edge of the market. She did not give the monk a single remedy. She gave him back something he had lost. She said, "Your body has been speaking, you forgot to listen." This is the medicine. Not a new protocol, not a new fear dressed as wisdom, not a new set of rules to replace the old ones. Trust, listening. The radical, terrifying, beautiful act of placing your hand on your chest and believing that what beats beneath your palm knows what it is doing. When you live in fear, every system in your body contracts. Your digestion tightens, your sleep fractures, your muscles hold, your immune system dims. Fear is not protecting you. It is the thing you needed protection from. And when you live in trust, not blind trust, not reckless trust, but the kind of trust you would give an old friend, when you trust your body the way you would trust someone who has shown up for you every single day of your life without fail, everything opens, everything softens, everything works the way it was designed to work. Not perfectly, not forever, but faithfully. The way rivers flow, the way seasons turn, the way the heart beats without being asked. You have never been broken. You have been at war. And tonight, you lay the war down. Let that land for a moment. Feel what your shoulders do when you hear those words. Feel what your chest does. Something just shifted, didn't it? You may not have words for it yet. That is fine. The body understood before the mind does. It always has. Before you leave this place, I want to speak to you one more time, not as a teacher, as someone who sees you. You came here carrying something. Maybe you did not name it. Maybe it was just a tightness in your chest, a worry that lives beneath your ribs. The low hum of a fear you have carried for so long it feels like part of you. I see it, and I want you to know it was never yours to carry. Your body, this extraordinary, patient, resilient body, has been with you through every heartbreak, every sleepless night, every anxious morning, every meal you agonized over, every gym session you forced yourself through, every article that made you afraid. It never left. It never stopped working for you, not once. Even now, as you listen to these words, it is breathing for you, your heart is beating for you, without being asked, without being thanked. So tonight, or whenever you next feel the merchants begin to scream, whenever the next headline tries to steal your peace, whenever the voice in your head starts calculating danger, remember the old healer at the edge of the market. Close your eyes, place your hand on your chest, and listen, not to the noise, to the knowing. It has been there all along. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be present. You do not need to control everything. You need to trust something. And that something has been beating beneath your hand since the day you were born. It has never once forgotten you. Do not forget it. You are not broken. You have never been broken. You are whole. You have always been whole. May you walk gently with yourself. May you treat your body not as a problem to be solved, but as a companion to be honored. May you sleep tonight, not perfectly, but peacefully. And may you remember, the next time the world tries to make you afraid of yourself, that you were never the enemy. You were always the home. If these words found you at the right moment, if something in your chest loosened even slightly while you listened, then leave one word in the comments. Just one word. The word is trust. Not for me. For you. So that tomorrow, when the merchants start shouting again, you can scroll down and see it in your own handwriting, and remember what you felt right now, right here, in the quiet.